Hey guys, it's Ty with Ty the Dog Guy on the Daily. Welcome to today's podcast. So for the past couple days, I've been talking about tools, techniques, and consistency. So these are the only three things that are standing in between you and the results that you want with your dog. And so 2 days ago, I talked about having the right tools and make sure they're fit properly and things like that. And then yesterday, I talked about techniques, making sure we have correct techniques and that we're doing the techniques correctly. These are very important things. Now, the last thing that we need, the last thing that stands in the way of most dog owners is consistency. Now, consistency is important, but only if you have the right tools and techniques. Because it's very common that I hear someone tell me, all right, I don't know what to do. This is somebody we're talking to for the first time. I don't know what to do. Like, I'm being so consistent with my dog, and yet still he's aggressive. Or I'm being so consistent, and yet he's still peeing in the house, or whatever. And when we look at the techniques that they're using, it's wrong. And so I always kind of joke like, hey, if I want to lose weight and I consistently eat a pizza every night, I'm being consistent. I'm just being consistent with a really lousy method that's not a really lousy technique that's not going to produce the results that I'm looking for. And that's where most people are with their dogs. If they're being consistent, is they're being consistent with techniques that just aren't terribly helpful and don't work very well. And so like I say, if we've got the right tools, the right techniques, now it's about consistency. And consistency really, there's two things to look at. Consistency in percentages and consistency in time. So in percentages, what I'm talking about is, let's say that we're trying to correct the dog for jumping. And every time he jumps, we give a little tug on the leash, or we spray with a spray bottle or something like that, right? And so this is a technique that works. I 100% know that it works. I've used it on 1,000 dogs. I know the tools work. I know the techniques works. It works. But let's say, the dog jumps or attempts to jump 10 times and the owner only corrects it 4. 4 out of 10 is not very good percentage. You might see the needle move a little bit and you might see the dog jump a little bit less, but it's not going to really push you to where you need to be. Now, obviously, we're shooting for 100% on our percentages. No one's ever going to be 100%, but as close as we can get to that is really what it takes to see the types of results that we're looking for. So like I say, percentage-wise, we've got to be as high as possible, and that's on both ends. That's when we're trying to correct something and when we're trying to encourage and motivate something. So if my dog sits 10 times and only twice out of those I give him the reward that he's looking for, he's not going to be as motivated to do it. We're not going to find the dog as spot on with it. So anyways, we have to have a high percentage of consistency. And then it's time. And so if we've got the right tools, we've got the right techniques, we're doing the techniques the right way, we're being consistent percentage-wise, then we just need to do it for a long enough period of time until we've seen the desired results. So as an example here, to use the idea of a jumping dog again, it might take 2 days or a day or, very quickly, and we can get a dog over a jumping problem. But if and so the right tools, the right techniques, the right consistency over a day or two, we might get the dog to stop jumping. Dog that's acting aggressive, might be a couple months. We have to have the right tools, the right techniques, and do that for a long enough period of time. And like I say, that could be a couple months. And so the amount of time is obviously going to differ with everything that we're teaching the dog. But the key is that we've got, if we're seeing the results, we've got to keep pushing forward until it becomes what I call muscle memory for the dog. To where the dog is just so accustomed to being obedient, so accustomed to doing it the right way, that I don't have to be using tools, I don't have to be using techniques. The dog just does it. And that's a big problem, because a lot of dog owners will quit before they get to that point. They took a couple sessions, they got the dog sitting, and now they're not using the right tools or the right techniques, beyond those first couple sessions. And they want the dog to perform at a high level, yet they haven't been consistent for a long enough period of time. So there is no magic answer for how long you need to be consistent, a day, a week, a month, a year, except to say that you need to be consistent until you don't have to, until the dog is so accustomed to doing it right that he's just obedient. And then, of course, you still need to be consistent, with certain things, because your dog's going to get a little bit lax with his obedience as time goes on, and you're going to need to do reminder sessions and stay on top of things. But anyways, consistency. You have to be highly consistent until you don't have to. So hopefully that makes sense. Tools, techniques, and consistency.